My story begins when I was 17 and my family moved into a new house. My baby sister had just been born a few months prior, so my mom and stepdad wanted a bigger place. They never took my brother, he was 15 at the time, and I house hunting, so the first time I set foot in the house was the day we moved in. My mother had bragged about the great deal they got on the place. Well, the moment I stepped across the threshold I understood why. The house felt very unwelcoming, and I immediately got the sense that something horrible had happened there once. During the first weeks living there, I got more psychic input and pieced together what was going on in the house. A bit about the house layout: the front entrance of the house opens out on the right to a large living room, dining room combo. On the left, there is a hallway, and straight ahead is a sliding door leading to a sunken den and a Florida room that was added on later, not original to the house. At the far end of the den is the doorway to the garage. Down the hallway back by the front door is the entrance to the kitchen, the bathroom and my sister's room on the right. The entrances to my room, the basement and beyond it, my parents' room, are on the left side. The hall ends in a mirrored wall that would have been fashionable in the 1960s or early 1970s. The end of the hallway has a bad feeling and the mirror is creepy to say the least. If you are sitting in the living room, you can see down the hallway and it feels like you are being watched. Oftentimes I would be scared to look down the hallway for fear of seeing something there. Now to tell you about the really creepy part of the house, the basement. It is large, running the full length of the house. When going down the stairs, to the right is a short side with some storage and the washer and dryer. To the left of the stairs is the long side of the basement, which stretches back and ends in a part with a lower ceiling. There are some random shelves left by a previous owner, and nothing else in this part. My whole family would generally avoid this whole part to the basement, but I never discussed with them why. From that part of the basement, I always got the feeling of being watched by an angry spirit, a man. There are also strange stains on the floor at the very farthest end by the wall, where the ceiling gets low. The house has multiple spirits. I have never seen them, and only heard one of them. I once heard a little girl sneeze from the corner of the den by the garage door. I came to the conclusion that this was where the little girl used to try and hide from the man or escape from him out the garage door. I get a feeling of fear and sadness from the girl ghost, as if the man abused her and eventually killed her, I think in the spot at the end of the first floor hallway where it feels very bad. The little girl ghost seems to be mostly in the den. I cannot tell if she was his daughter or not. The man seems to mostly be in the basement. The other strange thing is that I can also feel fear there along with the man's anger and hatred. When I focused in on it, it felt like multiple dogs, and I got a flash in my mind of a double row of kennels stacked one atop the other along the far wall. I believe that the man kept dogs locked up there and that he tortured and killed them. I can feel multiple frightened and confused spirits who can sense me back. It feels like they are wordlessly pleading for help. I felt sickened the day it dawned on me that this might be the source of the odd stains on the basement floor. I never told anyone about these feelings and visions and left that house after only 8 months for my own place. I did not think about it again until recently. My baby sister, who is now grown, needed help taking care of my ill stepfather. So I found myself staying in the house with her for the first time in 2 decades. The house still has the same feeling to it, and one night we were talking about how it felt odd and that parts of the house felt very bad. I had never told my sister anything about my experiences in the house. So I got a chill when my sister mentioned the man in the basement. I got wide-eyed and gasped. This made her gasp too. She pointed at me and exclaimed, "You can feel him too." I nodded, now thoroughly creeped out, and we proceeded to compare notes on our experiences. I should mention here that most of the women in my family have some level of psychic sensitivity. My great-grandmother, my grandmother, my mom, myself and my baby sister all are sensitive. I am also Wiccan and have trained myself to develop my abilities. My sister has no interest in such development, but she is naturally very sensitive and intuitive. I often wondered why my mother could not feel the house as well. I think she did, but ignored it as she was never really comfortable with her psychic abilities. As my sister and I talked further, I noticed things she was doing instinctively to keep the male spirit at bay. The bad spot in the hallway is right in front of her bedroom door. Yet, my sister's room feels very safe and good. I think this is partly because my mother watches over her. Our mother died when I was 20 and my sister 3. It is also because of my sister herself. She keeps a large white candle lit in her room whenever she is home. She also burns sage several times a week. And she does not know why. Besides, she likes it. No one told her this might be a good ghost remedy either, she decided it on her own. She also mentioned that, growing up, she spent a lot of time in the Florida room and always felt safe there. This made sense because it had been added to the house later on, probably after whatever happened there. I was pleased to learn of my sister's habits, and I assured her that she was doing the right thing to keep the bad spirit at bay. Also, she is very strong-willed and is not a person easily messed with. Sis next told me her experience with the man in the basement, that when she was a little girl she hated the basement. As she got older and started doing laundry, she remembers often being by the washer and dryer and being terrified to turn around because she could feel the man behind her, just a few feet away under the stairs, watching her. When she'd finished whatever she was doing, she would race back up the stairs, avoiding looking in the direction of the feeling. She also could feel the little girl ghost but not the dogs, though she sensed that something unspeakable had happened in the basement. We got further confirmation when her boyfriend and his friend stayed over another night to keep her company while my stepfather was in the hospital. She did not tell her partner and his friend about the house for fear they would not want to stay. Still, they both felt strongly the bad feeling in the house. The friend was supposed to sleep on the couch in the den. But he felt so freaked out that he went out for some liquor and sat out in the backyard most of the night drinking and smoking, refusing to come back in the house and sleep until the sun began to rise. I am not sure how to go about finding out if anything actually did happen in the house. Any ideas for how to look up such things as crimes committed in a house? I'd appreciate input here. My sister and I have also talked more recently about trying to psychically cleanse the house, but we hesitate to. My sister's energy has sort of put the bad man ghost in his place and he does not bother her now. We also have an "if it ain't broke, don't fix it" attitude toward him. We both feel clearly that he has a very strong attachment to the house, so an attempt to oust the spirit might do more harm than good. Also, I read somewhere that you can distract a ghost by spilling birdseed or rice on the floor where the haunting is, that the ghost cannot resist counting the grains, but will lose count and start over repeatedly. We did this in the basement and it seems to have helped lessen the angry, threatening feeling in the house. Who knew ghosts had OCD? My sister plans to eventually sell the house, at which point we may have a priest come in and try a cleaning. If anyone has an opinion on that, please feel free to share. We are open to suggestions since my sister would feel guilty selling the house in its current state to some unsuspecting family.